It's showtime. Okay, let's do the thing. Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies. We are not inside Eford Studios today. We are at Happy Hale, Six Forks and Strickland out in North Raleigh. Big thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. It is just after 1 o'clock today. It is an OG Sleek Fleet Live. We thank them for sponsoring us.
It's Thursday.
Check them out.
I just realized.
Yeah, we talked to the other Tyler.
I know.
Earlier in the week, we thought it was Thursday, but now it's Thursday with another Tyler
really
from
is.
Happy Hale. But check out sleek-fleet.com. But yes, Tyler, Happy Hale, thanks for having us out, man.
Gentlemen, welcome. Good to see you again.
Yes.
Do you want to sing the jingle yourself? That this opening segment's brought to you by Happy Hale?
This opening segment is brought to you by
Happy
Hale.
So one of the things
Epic
that we've been
jingle.
talking about a lot, and I actually had it for the first time. I called my shot. I was going to have it before today's show, was the Burger Bowl.
Yes.
I was not surprised that you guys made something really delicious. What I was surprised by was how closely you nailed the entire aesthetic of a burger, just without the bun.
Yeah.
Right down to that sauce. I don't
Yeah.
know what you put in that sauce, that burger sauce, but that is key burger sauce. That was good stuff, dude.
Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, the inspiration was a pretty famous burger that most of at least America knows, and it has that special sauce on it. And so we kind of use that as a base, and then Happy and Hale-ified it, took the bun out.
Yeah.
And that's our whole thing. It's like, how do you make bowls that are similar to other flavors and make them good for you?
Yeah.
So the Burger Bowl has been launched, trying to get that classic Americana, July 4th-ish. We launched it. So, so far, so good.
That was your first foray into ground beef.
It was our first foray. Yeah, we've had steak on the menu for a couple years now. And in the last probably 6 to 12 months, been eating a lot of ground beef and a lot of ground chicken and ground turkey.
Okay.
Just as an easy way to get my protein in, put some veggies in there, put some lettuce in there. And so that was kind of the inspiration. Yeah.
You are a man about town too. You know, North Hills, I consider that to be my home base, even though that's really Joe's home base, right? But I want to pump up neighborhood a little bit too in
I
Madre,
appreciate
because
that.
your other projects downtown, man, you got a lot going on.
We're having fun. Yeah, we have great teams all over the place. We just opened up a neighborhood bar in Smoky Hollow, aptly called Neighborhood. Good time bar.
Yeah.
Beer, wine, cocktails on draft, trivia.
See, now I need to get him there because you said cocktails on draft.
We have cocktails on draft. We have
On
an old
draft.
fashioned on draft, which people can turn their nose up at first glance. Then they try it and they're quickly eating their words. It's like, wow, drinking their words, I should say.
As somebody who was that person, a draft, old-fashioned,
draft,
what are we talking about here? I've had those before. Shout out to our friends over at Graffiti, Wayne and all them, and Carrie. That's where I first had a draft
old-fashioned.
Kind of dangerous.
I didn't even know you could have a draft cocktail,
but really good.
Big and boozy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, we're having fun. We have we do trivia Wednesdays. Thursdays is a singles run and walk club where singles wear black, taken wear color, dogs welcome, and a variety of other events. DJs on the weekends, and we do some live music as well. But yeah, they're having fun back there. North Hills, Happy and Hale. That's kind of my home base as well.
Okay.
And then we opened this location about 2 years ago here at Six Forks Station. It's been great.
Six Forks Station. Yeah, I tweeted it out today. Even my dad was like, "Are we going to the one that we already been to?" And I was like,
nope.
No. We're going to Six Forks today.
Farther north.
A little bit down the road. But I've also had other people hit me up like, "Whoa, you guys are always doing stuff downtown. I'm actually coming out today because you're out in my neck of the woods."
Love that.
So JC Zemble being number one on that list right now. So
I love that. Yeah, we had a lot of people come into our North Hills location for a long time. They live north of there, kind of in this area, Six Forks and Strickland, right next to the Target. Say, we'd love to have you out there. And even though it's only a 9-minute drive door to door, it's completely different world up here.
It really is a completely different world up here. As somebody who lives over in North Hills and visits that North Hills spot, it's 10 minutes, not that big of a deal. But the light cycle makes it kind of a different situation to get down to North Hills. So I can see why people are like,
100%.
This is perfect, right where it is.
Yeah, if you're up here, you don't want to go down to North Hill, especially during lunchtime.
No,
Parking can be
definitely
there. So here we have ample parking. We're right next to the Target. Get your supplies. Come on over, get a burger bowl.
All right, so you're back in PNC this upcoming hockey season?
We are back in PNC, confirming that. Fact check, Jordan. Yes, thank you.
Okay, just making
we
sure.
are working through the deal right now, but
Okay.
we are 99.9% back at PNC.
Okay, I just
for the
wanted to make
upcoming
sure
season.
when we're talking about things like, hey, when the hockey season's back, I just want to make sure people know that Happy and Hale's also going to be back.
I'm sure Tom's giving you a discount the same way that I give you a discounted rate for your support and
Tom
friendship.
was very concerned with our local discount, 100%.
I'm sure that's exactly how it works.
But main man Jordan has been sticking the
Perfect.
negotiations.
well, I
for
know
us.
who will give you a nice rate, though. To our friend Doug Worth.
Doug
will
Worth.
take care of you. So
What a gem. So happy for that guy. Nailed his dream job. Excited to see what he does. And yeah, he's always been a fan and a help for us.
I was going to say, your true passion is not bowls and chicken and delightful smoothies. I had Almond Brothers right here, sir. Resisted the temptation to put the brown liquor into it. I'm preserving the sanctity of your.
Combining worlds. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty,
That'd be good,
pretty
though.
dangerous. I try
That'd
to
be
leave
good.
them separate.
But hockey, I feel like, is your real passion now. Even though a former Wolfpack walk-on, man.
That's right. That's right. Well, to be completely honest, I am the number one Caniac in Raleigh.
Oh, Justin's
even
not.
more so than some of my colleagues. No, to be honest with you, Jordan, our VP of operations for Happy and Hale, he really got me into hockey. And then we had the connection with them coming into the North Hill store. And then, of course, we sponsor them in the partnership with the Burnsies. So very excited for the Canes and them coming back. And hopefully we can get some of them bartending in neighborhoods soon.
So are you are we selling a hat in real time?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, we can. By the way, we have.
Oh, wait, we're not. We're selling access to a hat in real time. Since
That's
this
right.
is
No,
on
access
camera.
to access to as I'm rocking here. Yeah, we'll just make sure we have all we have. By the way, if you're watching live and you're trying to get out to Happy and Hale while we're here, all we have is the dad hats to have access to. We will be getting a re-up on the trucker hats here soon ahead of the podcast festival, which will come up on August 24th. All right, you're always R&D, Tyler.
Always.
As Joe is out here doing an actual transaction. Let me mute his mic real quick. You're always doing R&D. I feel like, did you just bring out something to R&D here? Is this something that's on the menu yet, or what?
Yeah, we have a couple of bowls. So
Okay.
to be completely honest, this is a bowl that we had on our menu for 10 years.
Okay.
This is one of our most popular items. It is the protein bowl.
Okay.
But with rising costs across the board, we have been talking recently about maybe substituting one of the ingredients in said bowl to reduce our costs. We continue to offer it at the price that we have for 10 plus years.
Okay.
So what you have here is the protein bowl with one ingredient change
I'll take
between the
that
two
one.
of them.
I'll take that one.
They're
So one
both-
ingredient is changed in here.
Yep. So basically, if
Should
you
I
guys
add
want
the
to
sauce?
add the sauce, that's our honey habanero, or don't actually. I would say just if you're going to do it,
Just sprinkle just a little bit.
yeah,
of it
sprinkle
on here.
some sauce on there.
Just a smidge.
Mix
just
it
a
all up.
smidge. Okay.
That way you can get the full extent of what I'm trying to
Okay.
see which one you
So
guys.
while
like more.
I'm doing this,
This is no sauce.
you're going no sauce on
Then I'm
this.
gonna do sauce.
So what's on the protein bowl?
So
we're
the
talking.
protein bowl currently,
What do we have?
is-
What do we typically have on the protein
is
bowl?
herb roasted chicken,
Yeah.
bacon, goat cheese, roasted corn, roasted red peppers, black beans, and our honey habanero sauce. One of the most popular, 65 grams of protein, no greens,
I didn't even know you did bacon.
no rice, just straight protein with some veggies and a spicy sauce. Have you guys had this before?
Yeah, that's right. I usually get this or the bueno for the most
Yep,
part.
yep. And a lot of people put greens in it, put rice in it. I just
usually
gave
do
you
rice.
I gave you the unadulterated version.
So, is the bacon fake? Is it fake bacon? The chicken's legit.
It is not fake bacon. That is not the ingredient. You got to try them both. Tell me which one you like better, and see honestly if you notice it. You might not even notice a difference.
Oh,
frankly.
so okay. So one's unaltered, the other one's altered.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, once Joe's done, we'll switch here.
One is how it comes currently. One is the experiment we're
Okay.
trying.
So far, yeah, the sausage is legit.
It's funny,
Sauce Happy
it
Bee.
used to come with honey sriracha, and then when the sriracha shortage happened, we
Wait, there was a sriracha shortage.
still is.
Excuse me.
Can barely get it.
What? Why is there a
Apparently,
sriracha
Hoi
shortage?
Fong ran out of the red jalapenos during COVID. Is that right? And have not been able to bounce back. It's a tragedy for sure.
The cheese is different, is it not?
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Correct.
Got it. But I can't tell which one was which. I just know
Or
that there's a difference in consistency.
Is there
of
one
the
that you
cheese.
like better? That's really the question.
That one.
That one better?
The texture.
Okay. I'm excited to, on the bottom of the bowl, I have letters written corresponding with the cheese choice. So I'm excited to see after Giglio.
Well, I'm gonna drop a little bit of that in there too.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the fake cheese.
So neither one are fake cheese. They're just
Okay.
different cheeses.
Different cheeses.
And one of them has skyrocketed in price. So we're trying to balance
Okay.
flavor and
It's in the texture of the cheese that makes it the most noticeable.
100%.
Okay. He has more of a refined palate than I do.
Fair enough.
I can't tell the difference.
Well, that's probably good. If you tried the cheeses side by side plain, you
Yeah.
certainly could taste. But all together,
This
that's
is just the Bueno Bowl? No.
no, that's the
protein.
bowl. Right,
Protein.
right. They're both
Protein.
protein bowls, just different cheese.
Okay.
And that's kind of the thought is, hey, does this cheese choice really make that much of a difference in flavor? Because right now, from a cost of goods standpoint, the current cheese is
Okay.
challenging for us.
Chicken is really good.
The chicken's always on point, man. The chicken
Is
is
that
always
different?
on point.
No.
Just as delicious as always.
Wow.
Okay.
You said get the burger bowl of chicken too.
Burger bowl
You said
chicken
that's
is
in
fantastic
play.
as well.
Okay.
There's also a secret menu item that I make for myself. It's the buffalo chicken bowl. So it's with chicken, the burger bowl with chicken, but instead of the burger sauce, I add all the same, and then I do buffalo sauce and herb yogurt on the end instead of the burger sauce, like a buffalo chicken bun.
We have a cauliflower, hot buffalo cauliflower too.
Cauliflower
I have
as well.
gotten that. That's with your Caesar.
Yeah, that's on the Hail Caesar. Yeah, vegan.
Don't test me on the menu, man.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. Brought to you
Tyler,
by
I
Happy Hale.
appreciate you having us on, having
Yes.
us over. Thanks you for being a corporate champion.
And congrats
Do
for
we
being
have
back
a
at the arena
verdict on the
this year.
bowl?
A verdict on the bull in what sense?
Which one? So you like
go
the
ahead.
one you
I like the one that Giglio currently has.
I couldn't tell
That's the one I
difference.
preferred.
Wow.
So
That is the new
That's
cheese
the new
that we're
cheese.
exploring. That is
Okay.
feta, and you had the goat.
okay.
Oh,
It-
okay.
It, probably explains why I like feta.
Texture.
The texture of the
Okay.
feta and all that
Problem
stuff.
solved.
It
Thanks,
crumbles a
Jets.
little bit
So
more.
what in the cheese market? What's happening? Goat is rising.
The goats have become.
It's all the
very-
Michael Jordan talk.
It's all about the goat cheese has become very expensive in the last
Okay.
couple months. So always tweaking pricing and stuff like that. Just to stay on top of what's going on.
Hey,
and the
man.
goat cheese has gone through the roof.
Our friends in the beer industry have been dealing with this with the increase of hop prices, and they're trying to
Yeah.
find different hop varieties that can still do what it is that their consumers expect out of a particular beer.
Sure.
So this IPA tastes a particular way, but the hops are getting more expensive. Can we find an alternative
Yeah, and
and
it's
make that beer taste the way that the customer is used to having it? It's tricky out there right now.
It is tricky, and I'll close with this. It's a balance of, we could raise the price to match the goat cheese supply,
Yeah.
but we're also trying to provide a delicious, healthy product that's also relatively affordable,
Yeah.
and are not trying to gouge people. People already have price sensitivity, so it'd be nice to offer
Okay.
that.
I'd
that
also
price.
point out that I think your serving size is bigger than any of your whatever you would consider your competition. Whether it's a restaurant that serves a salad or whether it's a Chipotle who tries to do what you do, I think your serving sizes.
The burger
Can you
bowl.
eat it all in one sitting?
I have to be really the Chinese one. I can't. The Thai chicken one. I can't.
Yeah.
I housed the burger bowl in no time.
I did the burger bowl the other day. I was
Am I
pretty,
under-
I
am
was
I
pretty
under-
hungry the other day in the burger.
And burger bowl.
My med bowl is in my bag. I love the bags, man. I mean, I don't know if your efficiency person is telling you to get rid of those bags, but I love them.
It's a marketing move. For
Yes.
sure.
Okay.
The
And then
color walking around.
When I order on the app and I see my bag, I'm like,
It's good to go.
let's do this.
And the burger bowl is cheaper than a combo, right?
I believe so.
Pretty sure it's cheaper than a combo.
We'll go with that.
And it's
yeah.
better. It's
And
better
you feel
for
better.
you.
That's
It's
what
better
matters.
for you than a combo.
You got it.
Tyler, appreciate you, man. Thanks
Thanks,
for
guys.
having us out. Thanks for being a corporate
Great
champion.
to see you.
I'll do a little housekeeping here and then welcome on Julian Council, who is from Locked On Panthers. He was actually out at Panthers joint practice today.
Whoa.
All right, let's get to some housekeeping. You can watch Joe Giglio do things live as he cleans up his space. So enjoy that while we do live radio, ladies and gentlemen, live podcasting.
Housekeeping.
And housekeeping is brought to you by Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com, ENOVANA.com. Green Cleaning Solutions. I don't have the jingle with me, so it is. We'll have to do it next time.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it green, clean with Enovana.
OG Fans is live, ladies and gentlemen. Go to ogtrianglemedia.com right now. We've got a variety of options to choose from. We have the $13 a month, pay as you go, no big deal, recurring payments, $13 a month. That gives you access to the upcoming newsletter, which will feature writing from Joe Giglio, Lauren Brownlow, Tom Edwards on the Carolina Hurricanes, and more. It also gives you access to exclusive podcasts, which will include ACC Panic Room with me and Lauren Brownlow, OG on Business. We have our inaugural episode out this week with me and Dimitri Ravanos. We also have Law of the Wolf and the OG Mailbag, which will start up next week, all for $13 a month, or $143 for the year, which gives you a month free.
Buy 11 months, get one free. One of our favorite tricks.
Or
now this one's not Joe Giglio approved.
For $200.
No, that one is.
You're part of the Founders Club, which you get the newsletter and the podcast for the year, part of OG Fans. And
speaking of
you
that,
will be getting a hat and a tote bag, which we do not have a design for yet. My brother was like, I'm not going to spend money until I know what the design is. I'm like, dude, we'll figure that out eventually.
Will you hit the button real quick?
Which button?
Do you have it? Meeting?
We're having a meeting.
Okay.
What's the meeting?
From our friend Chris. Hey, I made a mistake with my membership. I meant to sign up for Founders.
We'll talk
but only did the 12 months for the price of 11. Can you help me?
Yeah.
He goes, can you help me give you more money?
Yeah. Tell Chris to email me.
Okay.
HJ.
Let me do it right now.
Just have him email me.
HJ
at my Gmail account.
at
gmail.com, and then we'll go from there. So that's OG Fans. Go check it out. The more subscribers you get, the more we can do. It's really that simple. We got the podcast festival coming up, not this weekend, but the next weekend for week 0. Debbie Yao is going to be joining us. We're going to have Your Full of Shit Giglio with bourbon to give away. It's going to be a lot of fun. Home Field's going to be in the house. I'll talk to you about that in a second. And I'm working on a special surprise for Giglio in particular at the podcast festival. You'll want to be here for this.
Okay.
So go to therialto.com right now to buy your tickets. We cannot do the podcast festival without our friends at Breeze Through. Check them out, breezethrough.com. Download the app. You can save money on gas. And, of course, our friends at Home Field, who will be doing the official hoodie for the podcast festival that you can only buy at the Rialto at the event. So get your tickets today at therialto.com. They're going to have some other goodies from Home Field as well. You can go to homefieldapparel.com right now. Use that promo code OG24 to save 15% off your order. And, of course, our friends over at Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. It is gross. All that rain, all that heat, the bugs are active, roaches inside the house, big roaches. We're talking Florida-sized roaches with all this moisture. You can make sure you take care of it with our friends, bugsbite.com. You can bundle and save with Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline from Locked On Panthers. He is all smiles.
Delusional.
Julian Council. He is high off of a joint practice between the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets. You look like a man that needs a cigarette after what you just watched at Bank of America Stadium.
Housekeeping. That's all I just can think of. I just love that little jingle y'all have. And there's also a number. Housekeeping. Yes, there's also a number of things I wanted to chime in on as you were discussing your housekeeping. But yeah, we'll talk about that another time.
Julian, hey, look, you're a friend of the pod, man. What did you want to bring up? What did you want to bring up?
Home team is a spot, or home field, sorry, is a sponsor. And I see they're doing all these boxes for teams with college football starting up. There's not a North Carolina box. And I'm kind of upset because I would have purchased a North Carolina Tar Heel football box because I am a North Carolina Tar Heel football fan. I understand there's only 12 of us, but we exist.
Yeah.
We're small but mighty, and I would have loved to have that. So that's just one thing I was wondering.
I will tell you what. I will contact Josh or Connor over at Home Field.
We'll talk to our people,
and we'll
for
see
sure
why that's the case. Why we don't.
And where's Elon? Where's Elon as well? Because I'm an Elon alum. Where's that? I want my fighting Christian.
Do they
Yeah.
not have? I thought they had Elon stuff.
No, they do not.
Oh,
That
man,
would sell like hotcakes at McDonald's whenever it comes out, man.
Oh.
When they see that Notre Dame Fighting Irish knockoff in maroon and gold, it's going to be off the shelves immediately.
You and our old friend Alec Campbell will buy Home Field's
West Durham.
entire stock of Elon. West Durham
Yeah.
will also be in the house for that sort of thing. All right, man. I'm actually just going to bring this up from our guy Paul on the YouTube comments. Bryce Young with elite ball placement today. Is that true? Was there elite ball placement today? from
Yes,
Bryce Young?
yes, that was true. The red zone period was the first time we got to see the Panthers ones versus the Jets first team defense, and 2 fade routes to both corners, both to Terrace Marshall Jr. of all people for touchdowns. And I was talking to our buddy Mike Kay, the Charlotte Observer. He said that's the best fade route he's seen Bryce Young throw in a Panthers uniform. And looking back at last season and what I've seen so far through the 15 days of training camp, hard to argue against that. Bryce looked great. He was accurate. I don't know if he was elite as far as his ball placement, but he was accurate. He was certainly in control of the offense today, and he looked good.
Not
So I
Julian,
was-
dude. Julian, if you're going to get into the aggregation game,
Yeah,
if you're
man.
gonna- if you're going to get a bazillion likes on an Instagram reel, you have to put all caps elite ball placement on a Bryce Young clip. That's what you need.
I guess I could do that.
Yeah.
I try not to tweet as much as I used to.
As somebody though who has seen the actual real thing, though, you cannot tweet piss missile because only Cam Newton was capable of throwing a true piss missile. So you can show restraint on that front.
Absolutely. And I actually was joking with somebody. If you look around, the guy who probably has the biggest arm on the Panthers is Felipe Franks, who's now a tight end. Remember him from Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh, those are fun days.
All right. So all jokes about elite ball placement, everything else aside, I am curious with Dave Canales and his process going to the remaining preseason games. The joint practices, as everybody will tell you, these are the things that the coaches really like. They can get heated. That's why you've seen a league shift to 1 of these joint practices as opposed to 2 when the fights typically break out and then the fines end up coming down from the NFL. So I understand why preseason game number 1 went the way that it did, not playing any of the starters. I understand maybe in game 2, given the joint practice, you don't want to throw Bryce Young out there too much, maybe a series. But I got to guess for a team that went 2-15 last year, that's trying to get Bryce Young off to a good start before everybody starts freaking out about how it's just a carryover of last year.
Yeah.
I just feel strongly like they're going to have to see a legit defense before they start this season off, right?
Well, they did see one today, but the problem, I guess, is that Quinnen Williams wasn't out there, and he's one of the best defensive linemen in the NFL, one of the best defensive players, period, in football. I did not like the decision not to play them last week. I do see the value in seeing your backups and giving them that opportunity, but they were going to get that opportunity anyways. New England played Jacoby Brissett for 1 series. They played Drake May for 1 series, and then they got to see their 2s and 3s in the back of the roster guys and find out what kind of depth that they have. So the Panthers could have played Bryce Young for a series or 2 and gotten him out there. But instead, they decided that did not need to happen last week. And this week, there's more of an excuse because of the joint practice, where, as you mentioned, coaches and teams feel like they get more out of these, at least with their starters, than they do in a preseason game. So I can understand not wanting to put them out there on Saturday. Maybe they do it just to appease the fans are going to go out there and spend absurd dollars to go watch a preseason game. But week 3, I know things have changed as they've lost 1 preseason game. I would like to see at least a quarter, maybe a half from Bryce Young. And all he does, though, is open himself up to criticism. I haven't really heard from anybody or spoken to anybody who thinks the Panthers shouldn't be playing their starters in the preseason coming off a 2-15 season. So if someone gets hurt, it's unfortunate, but I don't think people are going to be yelling at Dave Canales for how dare you play this player and he gets hurt in the preseason. It's more so how dare you not play these guys in the preseason. Then you come out week 1 and lay an egg in New Orleans.
Yeah.
What's the fodder going to be like? What are people going to say about you and this team and their early returns from the only thing that really matters is the games? Like, everyone feels positive about Dave Canales. He doesn't play these guys in a preseason all, and his offense goes out there and lays an egg week 1. The good vibes go right there out the window.
Is the thought process on injury, because Brownlow and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, is the thought process on injury or potential injury in a preseason game related to the fact that they already have some guys that have been banged up because of practice? Because look, as somebody pointed out to me yesterday, Cam Newton got hurt not even playing football. He was in car
Yeah.
accident. You can get hurt anytime. Like it is. I mean, it is what it is. So I know that Xavier Legette, he's been dealing with some injury issues. I know they're worried about their offensive line staying healthy. But these are things that can happen in practice. Is that, and we've seen some of this in practice already. Is that kind of informing the Panthers and how they want to handle preseason? They're already worried about the injuries they've got.
I mean, yeah, we've seen plenty of it in practice so far. Like Damian Lewis is a guy who's been struggling with a shoulder injury, and they've been ramping him back up as he missed time because of a family matter. Chandler Zavala, former NC State Wolfpack, he played left guard, filling in for Lewis today, and he went off the field with a hamstring, and they're pretty concerned about that. Dane Jackson, their starting corner outside of J.C. Horn, he is also dealing with a hamstring, which Dave Canales told us today is going to be 6 weeks. So now they need to find
what?
Dane Jackson. Dane Jackson. Yeah, Dane Jackson, who's the corner opposite of J.C. Horn.
Oh,
he's injured.
I think we are anticipating the J.C. Horn scheduled.
No,
yeah.
JC's honestly the only guy right now that's not injured.
Don't
you look at the secondary.
Don't, man. Don't say that.
Don't sorry. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. No, they are banged up. And Dave keeps telling us every time we ask him, are they going to play or are we going to be wasting our Saturday nights watching the 2s and 3s again and seeing how this team, surprisingly, not at all, has no depth. So it does make sense that he keeps saying to us that I got to see who's available. And right now, like that, a scare of Robert Hunt today. He went out. They thought it was a knee. He came back. He's fine. Damian Lewis, just like that. Zavala, he's injured. So if you are down potentially your top 2 guards, you're not going to want to put Bryce Young out there. So he doesn't have a healthy offensive line. I totally understand it. Defensively, they don't really have guys in the secondary that are starters outside of JC that are healthy. And it probably would make more sense for them to even get the backups in there like Deshaun Jameson and DiCaprio Bootle and Lamar Jackson more so than having JC because they know what he is when he's out on the field. The problem has been him being out on the field during the regular season.
You're answering my question because a man has to live by a code, Julian. I will not bet on the Little League World Series, even though I told you that Aruba line was shaded and they got no hit the other day. But you got to live by a code, man.
I didn't
hear that.
The one thing I will bet on, though, is the NFL preseason. And my math was after the way that they had played against New England and the weather was whatever it was and the situation was what the situation was. I figured with a new coach, he might be interested in coming home and being like, hey, it would be kind of cool to win this one. But now that I hear you talking about injuries on the offensive line, it makes a whole lot of sense not to throw anybody else out there. Maybe that Jets -1.5 is seeming a lot more appealing all of a sudden.
It may. The Jets did not impress me, by the way, when looking at that team. Like, they have Rodgers. I get that. He threw a couple interceptions. There's talk about them being all in. The receivers don't look like they're all in. Their offensive line doesn't really look like they're all in. But, yeah, maybe the Jets are going to be – it's going to be probably a pro-Jets crowd. The only time all these New Yorkers get a chance to see their beloved team that frustrates the hell out of them every year in person probably this year. So they could go check that out. So, yeah, if you want to be a degenerate sicko and go bet on the Jets for Saturday night, go for it.
I enjoy a preseason total, Julian. I can't lie to you, man.
Also, and Joe, like, you saw Jack Plummer last year at Louisville. Yeah. And it's funny, like I asked all the people at camp when they were talking about how bad he was last week. It's like, well, did you watch him at Louisville? They're like, no. It's like, well, if Louisville had a quarterback, they're probably in the playoff last year because that schedule was so bad. But instead they had Jack Plummer, and well, they lost to Kentucky. They lost 3 straight games in the season.
I was gonna say they lost to Florida State's 4th string quarterback in Charlotte. So
yeah, they pulled a Mac Brown.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. Speaking of Plummer, I think I heard Mike K talking about this. Maybe it was you talking about this on Locked On Panthers. But given his performance in that preseason opener, I mean, are they going to carry 3 QBs? Is this a practice squad situation? I mean, not that you want Bryce Young to get hurt. I think, and I want to circle back to that with Bryce Young and the offensive line and everything else. Out of the one thing we did not see last year, right? But given everybody's reporting or everybody's view of Plummer in that first preseason game, as an undrafted free agent, I can't imagine that they're really all that worried about it.
No, it's hard to know. Dave has talked about multiple times this offseason how they have the appetite to have that third guy as far as the emergency third quarterback, which means he's going to take up a roster spot. I see no value in that at all. If you want to have someone on your practice squad, and if you want to elevate them and have them be the emergency guy, if that's how it works, I forget, because I just think it's pointless. If you get to your third guy, you're screwed anyway. So why waste a roster spot on somebody who's not even going to play special teams? Like if this was Joe Webb, then sure, why not have him be your emergency guy? Because he played special teams here in Carolina. I saw that they've been rotating Jake Luton in there a little bit more with the twos, and he was the only guy last Thursday when he stepped in that led them down the field. So I'm thinking that they're going to give him more burn on Saturday, and that it's unlikely Plummer is going to get that spot. He could be here on the practice squad as a developmental guy. I do think there's an appetite for that. I just don't know what they're going to do with that spot. And it comes down to all the injuries as well on the offensive line, in the secondary, also at edge rusher. Who's going to be available for them and how their roster number is going to look like when we get to, I guess, 12 days from now is when they have to have the initial 53. That's all going to factor in. I just don't see Plummer getting that third spot. And if he doesn't, I don't know if it's Luton. He has 2 preseason games to prove it and a couple more practices. I don't see the point in doing it.
If I were the Panthers, I would release footage of Nicole Tepper telling David, do not sign Jack Plummer, to curry favor for all of those people who are convinced.
Yeah.
Like Nicole Tepper is like the puppet master, like sinking the entire franchise.
She's
so I would be like, I would find that footage. I would AI it and be like, no, don't sign him. Did you see the game did you see the ACC championship game? I was there. I was scouting in person. That was not the guy that we wanted.
Don't want it.
I would absolutely do that. He was awful. Right. I don't know if he was practicing with those players before. And then Terrace Marshall, why is he still on the team? I don't know. Mingo, I can kind of understand. And again, it was wet up in New England.
Yeah.
Like, if I was a true asshole and we were like in New York doing these things, I would just say to you, those 2 receivers are terrible. And I don't know if they look great in shorts. I don't know if they run that fast. I don't know what their deal is.
The Joe Miltons of wide receivers.
Honestly, here's a mistake that a lot of people make.
Okay.
Young coaches don't make, and they didn't learn, or owners or GMs or whoever. Belichick and Parcells was the master of this. He would make an example of somebody and say, you're not on my team. I'm getting rid of Terry Glenn. He tortured poor Terry Glenn in New England. So these guys are not afraid to just, they know who they can win with and they know who they can win without. You know what I mean?
Dave Canales is just such a nice guy that
I don't think he's going to make. What about Dave Canales gives you Bill Belichick vibes?
I can see Dan Morgan being like, hey.
No,
I'll say this, though.
Dave Canales strikes me as a guy who would put in the locker room of these wide receivers that Joe wants cut an old 80s hang in there cat hanging from the limb. Like, hang in there, buddy. That's exactly what Dave Canales would probably do.
He was mad today, though, because Terrace Marshall actually did have a good day. He was on the receiving end of both those great throws by Bryce Young. And one of them, he took the ball, threw it right at DJ Reed of the Jets, and started a melee. And Dave Canales came back and said, that's dumb football. We can't give the opponent anything. And that's as mad as I've seen him. And he was still smiling, still sounded positive, but he was ticked off. And I don't know.
Julian.
It's a bad look, man. It's a bad look for TMJ. This is a guy last year whose dad put it out there. He wanted to be traded. He had no market. He gets inactive for like 6 straight weeks. Then he comes back week 18 only because Mingo was out with a foot injury. He starts that game, lines up incorrectly, leads to an illegal formation penalty on a touchdown. One of the best plays we saw all season long offensively was brought back by a guy who wants to be traded, didn't have a market, and can't even line up properly. And then he's dropping balls, and then he's doing that. So, like, he's not going to be around much longer anyways, Joe, as just listening to.
Only the genius of Matt Rule could fucking watch LSU and be like, here's Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. If we put a mop out there with an opposable thumb, they're gonna catch a football. Like, only Matt Rule could scout that LSU team and be like, yeah, you know who the real hidden gem is? It's this other receiver. Like,
he was good at first in 2019 before Jefferson and Chase really blew up. The first 3 games, he was the guy. Then he got injured, and this is who he's been since.
You don't have to defend him, man. Unless he's like in your phone.
I'm just saying,
he's terrible.
There was a time for 3 weeks in Baton Rouge when he was the guy.
Hey,
Oh, at LSU.
Yeah, at
Joe
LSU,
Burrow
not
and an NFL offensive
yeah.
Clyde Edwards hilarious.
There was
a couple guys.
There was a time we were at top of the heap. Now look at us, Julian. I
Yeah.
mean, look, man, life comes at you fast. Okay.
This is
All right,
true.
so let's
Hey,
close.
man, I haven't made any Matt Rule comments all camp. You got to give me a little bit of
There's
runway.
you gotta let it go, man.
Yeah, there's you can't talk about Matt Rule
uh-uh.
anymore, just like I apparently can't talk about Aaron Rodgers anymore. But back to Bryce Young, and we'll let you go on this, man. And we appreciate the time. We were talking about the offensive line, and we're talking about putting Bryce Young out there in front of that. And, Brownlow's out here talking about he's going to die if the offensive line continues the way that it's been. And I'm thinking to myself, well, outside of the fake injury from last year, the fake benching,
Right.
the glorified benching from Frank Wright.
The real benching fake injury.
Yeah, real benching fake injury, I should say. Thank you. Bryce Young has been durable. At what point are we going to stop acting like Bryce Young isn't like some, like my grandmother had these things called lladros back in the day, these little porcelain dolls and whatnot that she would keep behind glass and didn't want you even look at them funny because they could break. Bryce Young is not that guy. I mean, we saw that last year. For as much time he was under duress, he was never hurt.
No, he did set a franchise record for the most sacks in Panthers history. Him and Steve Berline, they are tied for that. So you would think after that season, all the hits he took, that would go away. But Brownlow does have a good point. If the offensive line continues to be bad and he's continuously getting sacked 60 times a year, it's football. It's eventually going to happen. Doesn't matter how big or how small you are. We saw Cam Newton get injured all the time.
Yeah.
And he's a massive human being.
Yeah.
It's just conventional wisdom. If you keep taking hits just like that, eventually bad luck's going to happen. Some 330-pounder is going to fall on your leg wrong and hoping, knock on wood, obviously. And it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be injured. Like offensive linemen get hurt all the time with somebody just rolling up on them, and they're huge. So if you take the hits constantly, it's possible it's going to happen. But I think once the O-line is to where they're competent in protecting Bryce, he's not getting hit that much, and he stays healthy, then maybe it goes away. But it may never go away just because people already kind of have their preconceived notions about Young, and they're either still giving him a chance and believing in Canales, or they're still ruining the Panthers not drafting C.J. Stroud.
I mean, the two worst things that can happen for Bryce Young, one is obvious. C.J. Stroud continues the trajectory that he was on off his rookie season with a ready-to-go Houston Texans team. And if Caleb Williams does the thing in Chicago and people are just going to relitigate the deal that the Panthers made with Chicago to even get Bryce Young in the first place. So it's kind of like the old Mike Glennon, Russell Wilson watch that we used to have around here when Russell was in Wisconsin as a grad transfer, and Mike had to compete with that. Never mind that the two teams were completely different, and nobody wanted to talk about where NC State was compared to where Wisconsin was, but it is what it is.
If they had the number one pick, they weren't going to take a quarterback. They would have traded out and done exactly what the Bears did the year prior. Like, if anything, look at Anthony Richardson. Like, that's the guy. Like, I knew they were taking Bryce. I had no problem with Bryce Young being the quarterback here. Sure. But if you're telling me you got Frank Reich, you got this coaching staff of masterminds, supposed masterminds, as we saw, didn't work out, and they're going to work with a quarterback, the guy to take was Richardson. When you just look at just all the traits, and this league loves traits, that would have been the guy to take. So,
and look,
Panther fans be looking at that.
Look who didn't complete the season last year, and look who did.
Exactly. Yeah.
So again, that gets back to my point with Bryce Young, and give him a little bit more credit when it comes to durability. Everybody's so wrapped up at his side. Julian Council, Locked On Panthers podcast. I subscribe. I listen. He does it 5 days a week because he's a sicko.
I'm required.
Special reward for you.
The network asked me, it requires 5 shows a week.
Didn't WFNZ tell you, Giglio, like they were jealous you didn't have to talk about the Panthers every day?
Yeah. I talked to them a day after the Pats preseason game, and I was like, hey, you guys got to remind me when I'm on the air. Like, there's FCC rules, and I can swear. And they're like, yeah. The one guy was like, yeah, I'm jealous that you can swear. The other guy was like, yeah, I'm jealous. You don't have to talk about the Panthers for 4 hours today. I was like, yeah, man. Yeah, these are all facts.
They could always talk about Charlotte FC. There's other things going on.
That's a good point. All right, Julian, take it easy, man.
All right.
Big thanks to Longleaf Swine. Check them out, longleafswine.com. I was actually there this past Sunday for their brunch.
With Ken.
We talked about dinner.
Ken was there.
Ken was there. I was not having lunch with Ken. Ken and Ashley were there. Chopped it up. Introduced Ken to my dad.
Oh.
So
that's a meeting of the minds.
did I tell you that when Ken was dropping Miami knowledge, my dad was completely confused? Like, how does this man understand all these? He was referencing highlight and all this other stuff. My
You're
dad's
like,
like,
he's a computer brain.
what does he know about highlight? Ken knows a lot of things. He knows a lot of things. Longleaf knows about the meats, folks. So go check them out, longleafswine.com. The barbecue's excellent. You've heard me talk about the burgers, but their specials, like on a brunch Sunday, you can get a meat and 3 if you want to. Old school, you can do. They have a chicken biscuit with like the hot honey on it.
What?
Have you not had that yet?
I have not had.
You got to go on brunch. The chicken biscuit is fantastic. And after you're done with Longleaf, head on over to Two Roosters. People have been contacting us through social media, flabbergasted by how good Two Roosters is, as if we would steer you somewhere else when it comes to something like ice cream. Two Roosters is legit, folks. So let's say you're done with Longleaf, go up to the Person Street location, get your Two Roosters. Let's say you go to the Butcher's Market off of Lake Boone.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man. Thanks. You go to the Two Roosters over in Lake Boone. They got locations all over the place, up in Wake Forest as well, and they got new flavors all the time, Joe.
The peanut butter cookie right now is number 1 with a bullet. I will be lobbying, as I do every month, for my new favorite flavor to be a permanent flavor.
Love that.
Tomorrow is my first Secret Pint of the Month club.
I'm kind of jealous about this whole Secret Pint of the Month club.
Yeah, I will make sure that you're not a member.
Well, the first rule of the Secret Pint of the Month club is to not talk about the Secret Pint of the Month.
I know.
All right.
Make sure no one else can get in either.
You know what? There are clubs that everybody knows about, including the Steak of the Month over at the Butcher's Market. So go check them out, butchersmarkets.com, thebutchersmarkets.com. And you can find out about the Steak of the Month. Better yet, you can get your tailgate stuff ready to go right now. I know you're game planning because I looked at it. Like, for instance, I looked at NC State's home slate. You're going to be sitting a lot of time in the parking lot.
There's a lot of tailgating.
There's a lot of tailgating opportunity with NC State's home slate. So do it right. Do it right with the Butcher's Market. Check them out, thebutchersmarkets.com. We appreciate them being a corporate champion. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, NC Rabbit Hole is the newsletter. I don't know, Jeremy Markovich from NC Rabbit Hole. I've heard newsletters are kind of a big deal right now, Jeremy.
They're a big deal. Everybody's doing one. You should do one.
We're even doing one, right?
How about that?
What a concept. OG fans, go check it out. $13 a month. With Jeremy, donate. Go give him money because he does incredible reporting. Like, what the heck is up with this Hugo the Hornet statue that's been trashed somewhere along an interstate outside of Charlotte? I'm bringing this up. If you're watching on YouTube, here is a busted Hugo the Hornet. There's I guess there's 3 of these based on some aerial photography, Jeremy. This is off your NC Rabbit Hole newsletter website. What? A, who told you about this? B, they're just still sitting there, trash like that on the side of the road?
They're just sitting there. So this is one of these things. I feel like I have gotten to the point now where people are just like flagging me in this, and you're like, you're going to write about this, correct? And this is one of these things. People are like, they're deputizing me to find out what the deal is with this. So yeah, there's 2 of them off the side of the road in Charlotte, and this is brought to my attention because there's a guy who covers traffic in the Charlotte area.
Yeah.
And he was looking at like one of the traffic cams one day and looked down, and he was like, what are those blue things down there by the dumpster? Like, what are they? And sure enough, it's 2 19-foot tall Hugo the Hornets, or maybe it's Hugo's the Hornet. I don't know. It's like one of those.
Yes.
Attorney generals.
Is there a chance then that Jerry Richardson's statue can't be far behind these Hugos?
Buddy, I've been looking for that for a while. So any tips? I've narrowed down the search area. Let me put it that way. That's what I can say at this point.
Definitely an awareness with the art.
The day you and Indiana Jones find the Jerry Richardson statue, that is a big day. We are doing a special live show just for that, Jeremy.
We'll get there. But yeah, so if you know Charlotte, if you know Independence Boulevard in Charlotte, like one of the big main drags, there's a big red like traffic wall, and these are just sitting behind that traffic wall. You can't see them from the road. There's a great picture of it. If you're on StreamYard/YouTube, you can see it there. But like, yeah, there's 2 of them sitting back there. You would never see it, but like, thousands of cars drive past this every single day. And so, the traffic guy posted this on Twitter, everybody just kind of loses their mind a little bit, like, what's up with this? And from my sleuthing, found out that basically, there's that old NBC slogan, like, if you haven't seen it, it's new to you.
Yeah.
Those things have been sitting there for 9 years. Like those Hugos have been in the billboard junkyard for 9 years, because actually about 10 years ago, Novant Health put up some billboards outside of Uptown right when like all of the Hugo buzz was really like peaking. Like this was maybe a few months after there was that video of like Hugo on the top of the arena signaling the return of the Hornets. He's waving a flag.
Yep, I remember that.
So all of this just happened, and so they put Novant commissioned these two 19-foot tall Hugos to go on the billboards outside Uptown Charlotte. They were up for maybe 6 to 9 months, and then they were like, well, that ran its course. They took them down, they threw them in a junkyard, and they've been sitting in a junkyard for 9 years. And people just are now finding it.
I feel like that's an Indiana Jones moment, if it belongs in a museum. As a purveyor of defunct things, I feel like, is there a way to get a Hugo the Hornet just outside Eford Studios? I mean, we could put it right next to the Accomplished Greatness.
I would
doormat.
assume if we were able to pull it ourselves that we could. I mean, I don't know why we wouldn't be able to.
It's just sitting there on the side of the road. Nobody's claiming it, right?
No. Well, first of all, get in line, because the guys who are like run the Crown Club in Charlotte, the big old like Charlotte Hornets fan club, are like, we're serious. We want this. We want this at our tailgate. We want the 19-foot Hugo at our tailgate. Like this is like 19-foot Hugo is now the hot item that has like displaced whatever, like the 12-foot Home Depot skeleton.
Yes.
Like that's the thing. Would you rather have 12-foot Home Depot skeleton or 19-foot Hugo? I would take Hugo.
The answer
Hugo.
is clear. I am taking a 19-foot tall Hugo.
Now I'm upset it wasn't a Bob Johnson. The Bobcats came into town and he was like, get rid of these Hugos. I'm mad that that's not the origin story. See, sometimes, Jeremy, when you like do these things and get the real answers, it makes makes my fantasy just pokes holes in them. It's just.
I'm sorry. I'm Joe. I feel for you, Joe. I really do. I do wonder if like they had Rufus stuffed, because like he just kind of disappeared. Like Rufus Lynx, the Bobcat, like he's gone. But like, is he basically over somebody's mantle at this point?
It could be. It could be. It could be like Tony Soprano's horse portrait that just kind of vanished at some point during the series. Pie oh my, and then it showed back up in the 6th season with deeper meaning with Paulie Walnuts. It's funny, you mentioned the Bobcats. Is that a vintage shirt that we repurpose? Probably not.
You have some interesting ideas of what people are clinging to and interested in.
In what sense?
What was the thing you showed me? The Carolina
The
Cougars?
old Carolina Cougars, the ABA one. I made a cool logo out of it, though. Could be showing up on Breaking Tea here soon.
You didn't go Bullfrogs.
Bullfrogs are a little hard to pull off.
Yeah, I once had a vintage. This makes no sense at all. A vintage Carolina Cougars jersey. It was a DJ Augustine Carolina Cougars jersey but when the Hornets were doing all like whenever they were doing the Pro Bowl,
Larry Brown was the coach.
Yeah, but when the Bobcats were around, they were doing throwbacks, but like they literally had nothing to throw back to, and they were like, "How about the ABA team that we never had anything to do with?" And so you could get like Cougars jerseys with like Charlotte Bobcats players, and they were terrible.
So we repurposed the 1972 through 1974 Carolina Cougars logo, and instead of holding the basketball, he's holding the OG. Although we had to be very particular on how we did the O and the G and the arm and shoulder of the cat, because if you angle the G a little bit more up, next thing you know, you got something a little phallic. So we had to be a little careful on that. Bless Anna over at Sound Off, who helps us out with our designs, but she really has a knack for turning things into appendages from time to time, including a foam finger that I'm like, we can't use that. That just looks like a dick and balls, straight up. Like I really have no other way to put it. So, but yeah, that'll be the next thing we do, and I'm putting it on a yellow shirt potentially. You love it.
Oh,
you love a yellow shirt.
Yes.
Yellow shirt with the green
You
print.
saved it.
Anyway, Jeremy Markovich, NC Rabbit Holes, the newsletter. Hey, man, we appreciate another deep dive on something ridiculous in the state of North Carolina. Let me know if those guys from that Crown Club or whatever the Hornets group is get Hugo. I need to know. Well, that's going to show up on somebody's front yard with Christmas lights right next to a Jack Skeleton from Nightmare on Nightmare Before Christmas. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's totally going to happen.
I'll get you on the waiting list. You'll be on the waiting list.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later. All right, where are we on the breaks here as I built them out earlier
Build them out.
at Happy and Hale?
Build them out.
Big thanks to Whitaker and Hamer. Check them out online, wh.lawyer. If we happen to steal the Hugo the Hornet 19-foot tall statue, my guess is we will need representation from Whitaker and Hamer so that we don't get in trouble for
Only
such
if
a
we
thing.
get caught.
That's a very, very good point. It's a very, very good point. So check them out, wh.lawyer. Again, that's wh.lawyer. Also, big thanks to Hometown Realty. You can check them out, myhtr.com. You can buy and sell with confidence. A lot of new construction. We're out here off Six Forks and Strickland. The further you push out past 540, you're seeing a lot of new construction. With all that land that's out there, builders have incentives. You might not know about them, but our friends over at Hometown Realty can help you out with that. So check them out online at myhtr.com. And let's say you bought that house. Let's say you're already a homeowner. You have a car too. You got to save on car insurance. You got to save on home insurance. Our friends over at the Garner offices of Matt Davis and State Farm can help you out with that. Check them out online, insuregarner.com, theoginsurance.com, or call Matt directly at 919-779-8277.
Just as Tyler and Jordan are looking forward to the hockey season,
Yeah.
Matt Davis already looking forward to the hockey season texted me today. Do you know when the OG tailgate is going to be for the hockey this year?
Yeah.
Because he's got tickets. He was also talking about giving some tickets away this year on this here program. So
I like that. I like that.
the best way to help Matt Davis in our adventures in giving things away is to check out how he could help you save on insurance. It's 919-779-8277.
All right, let's get out of here on some Hey Joe from David, who actually came by Happy and Hale earlier, and now he's watching on YouTube. We appreciate that. As someone who went to Cougars games in my childhood, I would totally get a Cougars OG shirt.
You found your target audience.
Buddy, who is the target audience for a Skyhawk shirt? We sold some of those. Who's our target audience for an Ice Cap shirt? Well, we found those people. I'm telling you right now, there's a Cougars. People love Cougars.
They do. Good
so
call.
they're going to buy an OG Cougars shirt.
Good
call that. From Bull City Coordinators on YouTube, between the Fight Club reference and the dark lighting, you guys are clearly paying tribute to David Fincher films, as you should. I love a Fincher film. Love a Fincher film. With the exception of The Game, I thought that was terrible. From Ken, who was here earlier, that bourbon espresso martini with 2 Roosters ice cream at Longleaf was delicious. He went to that bourbon dinner at Longleaf earlier in the week.
Whoa, that's a lot of combos right there.
Yes.
Whoa.
Let's see. From Evan, I'd be there, but meetings. Yeah, man. That's why you get that Happy and Hale app to make it really easy for you to come by and pick it up. From Tom, who's going to be writing Canes coverage for us on the OG Fans newsletter. I absolutely have no idea how you guys do these live shows. My auditory processing disorder was off the charts when I came in there. It's called headphones and years of experience.
If you can handle people humping you at Cameron Indoor Stadium, you can handle some background music and whatever, the bounce off the walls here.
Yes.
The beautiful aesthetic of Happy and Hale.
Jess, who also had lunch here at Happy and Hale, when we were talking about what the different cheeses were, she called it, is it feta versus goat?
She was all over that.
She was absolutely on top of that. All right.
That's dinner tonight.
Also,
by the way. I'm
big
excited.
thanks to Alex and Jess for bringing a Royal Troon flag that'll go up behind you. I feel it's very appropriate to have
it's
that
also
behind you.
yellow, and I got a ball marker.
Very
That was very thoughtful.
From Robert. What's the protocol for someone mooning the camera behind you asking for a friend? I mean, it's YouTube, man. All I gotta do is when the thing is over, I just have to make sure that
includes nudity.
That includes nudity.
I've never checked that before. I
but
promise you.
There's a first time for everything. Or is that an OG fans thing?
Did you end up having to do some beeping the other day? Because Leanne's kids.
No.
Okay.
I did not do.
I told her the story. She's like,
did not do
we'll
that.
have to listen. And then when Joe starts talking about hands and fists, then we'll do something else. I said, yeah, that's a good call.
She didn't like the Nine Inch Nails references?
No, I was telling her the story.
Oh,
it was
that.
more of like
Okay.
a apocryphal
Gotcha.
deal.
Gotcha.
And she's like, "Oh, I'll have to listen to that, but I'll probably have to skip over the part about."
Speaking of the kids, you weren't here yesterday because you were
youths.
moving James back to ECU.
I listened to yesterday's program, though. You know I do this.
I know you do.
You know what was interesting?
What's that?
The ads that are inserted.
Oh yeah, I've heard. My favorite of the listeners who pointed out after we trashed Bill Simmons,
Yes.
he's doing a YouTube TV spot, and apparently that spot ran right after we were trashing Bill Simmons and Jason Tatum.
That one any better.
I can't ask for a better
No, they
situation.
have like a paid PSA now.
Yeah.
that Cam Newton reads about drinking and driving.
Yes.
And I heard it twice, and I was like, first I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then second, I was like, man, why can't we get some sort of foundation to pay us to do some PSA? I mean, we could.
We
maybe.
could. Also, there's a Trojan ad running from Blue Wire.
The condom?
Yeah. Trojan Raw.
Oh,
The 13-year-old could not stop laughing. Could not stop laughing.
it's not art. I guess we do have some youths in the audience.
Yes, we do. So when
That's not art. That
he's
definitely
like-
would not be our radio ad.
so
For us.
when he went Trojan Raw, he's like,
you did the peas and the
No,
the other surgery.
dude, he does not need to. He's sneaky. I don't want to look at his internet search history. He knows way too much. Way too much.
Your son?
Yeah.
Your oldest son?
Younger one.
Oh.
The older one only goes on YouTube to he only goes on the internet. Did I tell you this story? I don't think I've ever told you this story. So the
I
rule.
was listening yesterday about the deep fried memes. I learned some things yesterday.
Oh, the deep fried memes are a real thing.
yeah,
with the
I
youths.
learned yesterday.
So I remember either one of two things. Either my older kid, was really, really good at destroying his internet search history, which I don't give him that much credit,
Okay.
or it never really crossed his mind that he could find
New
certain
incognito
things.
window, or
I don't even know. So I went and looked at his search history once, because the rule in the house is I'm not putting any sort of internet governor on. I'm not blocking sites. The rule is I get access to your device up until you're 18.
Sounds like a different warning story that I gave my kids, which was, hey, just so you know, no one's gonna fuck you for free. So they're going to offer that
there's
to
that.
you, but don't click on that. because
There's that.
that's not going to happen.
I've had that conversation. I also had that conversation with, let me express something to you guys, especially when it comes to the ephemeral messaging like Snapchat. I'm like, guys, nobody just wants to see it.
No.
Okay. They don't want to see it. So don't. Just don't. All right. So we had that conversation.
That was good. That was good parenting on my
Caleb,
part.
that is good. Nobody wants it for free. You're right.
Jim Phillips.
Nothing's free. Even
We
that.
cleaned it up. We cleaned it up. We did it.
But the point is,
Sorry, Leanne's kids.
sorry, Happy
Oh, no,
Hale. That's
It's a
right.
new
Talking about these things while we're out here. No, but
That's how I was about it, man.
but with
it's
this-
good parenting.
But with the 16-year-old, one time I went to look at his internet search history and thinking, all right, what am I going to find? Because if you looked at my internet search history at 15,
I didn't have the
Buddy.
internet at 15.
buddy,
It's probably for the best. I was too busy with scrambled porn, man. And the Fredericks the Hollywood catalog. Are you kidding? I didn't have these glorious luxuries.
the scramble vision of like, wait a minute, it's green, but I don't care. I see it.
You got that, the audio would come in for like a 30-second clip, and you're like, oh.
But anyway, but it was all like Minecraft tutorials. And
Oh, like how to build like
how to build
SpongeBob.
some screen.
Yeah,
I'm
my
like,
kids
oh,
had that
okay.
phase too.
With Jacob at 13, yeah, man, I don't. Based on the things that he's into, I could.
Thank
I don't-
you.
Who knows? Who knows? No, but the reason why I brought up you moving James back is I was curious because Caleb's not too far from going to college. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Does he have any posters in his room?
Yes.
Like, do posters still exist in a dorm room?
They have more flags
Okay.
than posters.
Like, what is the dorm aesthetic in 2024?
the one that I enjoyed the most? And I only knew because I told you
Yeah.
when it was Fogel's birthday. They have Nick Lovin's driver's license as one of their flags.
I love that.
Then they have like a ECU no quarter flag.
Okay, that makes sense.
And they had a dream team flag that I had to give them both a hard time about.
Okay.
What was the other? He brought a Derek Jeter thing up there yesterday.
So it's flags.
They are flags.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's
'Cause I
no
think-
John Belushi college poster that they got for signing up for a credit card.
And you know what? The Brickyard wasn't selling posters
Right,
when
that's
I
what
was
I'm saying.
walking around. But they specifically did say yesterday. So they moved into the Boundary, which is like right across from where they were last year on campus.
Yeah.
But if you've been to Greenville, you know it's like right there across from Sup Dog. So and the UBU. Is that it? I think it's the UBU.
I guess I don't know.
So that's what they specifically said last night. Oh, we got to go over to the UB tomorrow and get. I'm going over to get more flags. Tomorrow.
Okay.
So I said, okay, knock yourself out, man.
Okay.
It's your world.
Yeah. Again, my whole reference with this, because even when my brother was in college, they were still doing on the Brickyard.
The Brickyard selling the posters,
or
man.
just outside the Freedom of Expression tunnel, they were selling the posters.
Freedom, yes, on that side of the river, which is now like really like nice and swanky.
Yeah, it's all really, really nice. And you could get your classics. I've talked about this before, but you could always get your classics. So you had the John Belushi College. You can get your Pink Floyd poster, which had the painted album covers on the back of women by a pool. You could do all that. I mean, at some point there was a Pulp Fiction poster because that was the hot thing at the time. So I was just kind of curious.
Younger,
I was just kind of curious, like if that exists today.
Did not see a lot of posters
because the dorm setup is so different now. Because again, I'm old. You had a dorm. You had an actual desktop computer taking up a gigantic amount of space, creating a bunch of heat. So you never had to turn the heater on.
A little bit younger.
But now you got laptops. You got flat screen TVs you can mount on the wall.
Yep. The first thing that his roommate Jack had set up was the PlayStation, and there he was like in year 4 of his ECU dynasty. So yeah, they were all about the NCAA.
Yeah. And we'll close on this. Paul, who's actually in this business, you two being on opposite sides of the screen, talking to each other off the screen is triggering me. Yes, I understand.
Paul,
I understand, Paul. Like I can really mess with you guys and just be like, hi, and do that and really screw with you. But you know what? The setup is the setup, and the setup works in the studio. When we're out of the studio,
you and Kelly had lunch outside, which was a nice setup
it's a
under the cover
day.
there.
It's a gorgeous day out here today.
Come check these guys out. They do such a great job. Their food is so good. And it's true. Like, I don't feel like I'm ready to have a comatose nap or anything. Like, I feel actually like, what you mean when you make good choices and eat good things?
What?
I went to the doctor this morning and he was like, hey, my doctor was like the nicest person on the planet. He's just always like, hey, so your weight. it's not.
It's like, do we really?
It's not even like it's not even the toxic positivity. It's just the hey,
dude.
So you know, and I'm like, yeah.
JC over at Wolfpack Central brought me this.
No. He brought that to me, but I knew that you would enjoy that.
Okay, so this is a 1980 complete handbook of pro football. Yes. With the Steelers on the cover, and I opened it right up to the Dolphins veteran roster.
I was gonna say, don't spoil it though. You got to bring that to your pops. He will enjoy that.
Bob Greasy, Don Strock, Nat Moore, Kim Bocamper, for heaven's sake. This is my youth, man.
Yes.
This is my youth.
Yes.
Look at that handsome man, Don Shula. My dad still to this day is mad at Dan Levitard because he's convinced Dan Levitard was the one who got
him
Don
fired.
Shula fired.
Robert, you are correct. Happy Hale, they are the best. He says he stops by here twice a month. I drop by today. Yeah,
do it.
We get it, man. You got chaos is definitely the word. That's what the app is for. I will just say that is what the app is for. The Burger Bowl is delicious. All of the different menu options are awesome. And you know what I'm going to do this year, Joe?
What are you going to do?
I'm definitely going to hit him up at the arena.
Let's do it. I'm excited about that.
I've been hesitant to do that, but now I'm ready to take that plunge.
You got your row back on. I saw that our friend Ken had his row back on today.
Row back.
He was row backing it up.
Row backing it up.
You can go check it out. Yeah, you're right. Hold on a second. Let me get the right one.
Topic, stack it up. Giglio's row back it up.
So you can go to rowback.com. Use that promo code OG20 to save 20% off your order. You're going to have access to, for those who signed up for the golf tournament, access to.
Okay. Yeah, we're working some things out with Rowback because they have similar issues like access, sales points, taxes, and all those good things. I got to say this, though. Listening to the show yesterday, right? I'm driving home. You guys did a wonderful job with all of the ads. However, because you were talking about Sedgefield and the gear you could fit right in with the Rowback.
You can.
So on days off, I don't like to wear my Rowback gear because I like to wear it for the show.
Yes.
So yesterday I wore a different polo to move James in and out of the dorm or his apartment. Okay. I was, it was a national brand. Okay. I was completely and totally uncomfortable.
Oh.
But I brought my firecracker hoodie knowing that when I was done, I'd want to, wear something else.
Yeah.
When I put that hoodie on, it was like this warm hug. It was like I was walking back home and Ward Cleaver's wife, June, was there with the slippers and a pipe for me. It was unbelievable. I was so ecstatic. That's why today I had to rep the rollback because I'm like, I can't go a day without you people.
I love that. I love that. So check them out, rollback.com. Use that promo code OG20. And thanks to Nature's Relief, check out naturesreliefhempstore.com. That's RELEAF hempstore.com. I dropped by earlier this week to re-up on those sleep CBD CBNs, right? And they do a wonderful job. But the folks over there, I asked them, I was just straight up asked them, what is your best-selling gummy right now? Like, what's the THCA thing that's really moving units these days? And they brought me over to this hybrid one, and it's 25 milligrams. I took half of one, and I was floating in space. It was fantastic. I was feeling so good that I might actually, as Brant points out,
I was going to say,
I might actually play the bluegrass cover of Too High for the Supermarket.
Did you say I got duped by the thing I sent you?
Yeah, that was AI.
It wasn't real?
That was not real.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I was so
AI.
excited, too, because I'm like, I actually think Joe's going to like this.
No, it was funny,
It was
but
right.
it was AI.
Okay.
It was AI.
Oh, man.
Yeah, you got to, internet literacy is going to be a real struggle. What was it that I saw the other day? ChatGPT or OpenAI had done these images, and the prompt was like 2003 point and shoot camera at a party with flash.
Oh,
and
no. It got it?
Dude, it was like going back to just at a college party pictures. Like, I am not kidding you how scary real they looked. So we are, heck, man, I wouldn't be surprised if we could just do AI versions of ourselves and take a Monday off.
Yeah,
anybody can podcast it on Monday, but can AI do that?
You know, certain overlords were already looking into that.
Oh, I know. I'm fully, look, you know my stance on this. If you're in the sports talk radio business and you need Chat GPT to come up with 10 different topics for the Super Bowl, you might be in the wrong line of work. You might be in the wrong line of work.
And you wonder why I hate meetings.
That's right, folks.
Wrap it up.
That was a real meeting. That was a real meeting. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks to everybody who dropped on by Happy and Hale. Locations across the triangle, out here on 6 Forks and Strickland. We got North Hills as well, one out in Durham, and of course at PNC Arena. And we will see y'all Monday. Check out OG fans, OGTriangleMedia.com. Go buy some today.